So about a month ago, I talked about the state of Windows in this video titled Windows has become a buggy, bloaty mess. And I mean, as the video states, that's the way a lot of people feel about Windows 11. The bugs, the bloat, the lack of efficiency, the way they keep adding features that we don't want and excluding features that we do want, so on and so forth. And a big part of that has to do with how focused Microsoft is on the implementation of artificial intelligence. In fact, just recently on December 15th, the Windows developer Twitter page talked about how Windows is evolving to empower people to use AI easily, securely, and confidently. It is becoming the canvas for AI built into the system, silicon, and hardware so organizations can move from experimentation to execution at scale. Except nobody wants this. Nobody wants Microsoft's focus when it comes to Windows to be AI, which is why this tweet right here you'll see has garnered just a couple hundred likes, but tons more retweets and responses. And yeah, I mean, scrolling down, you'll find plenty of people protesting Microsoft's focus on AI. People saying things like, hey, Copilot, how do I uninstall you? Or, people just making fun of how useless currently AI has been when it comes to its implementation. Currently, AI just feels like it's a solution looking for a problem rather than solving a problem that actually exists. We had tons of people talking about how they didn't consent to, Windows AI being trained by the people using Windows, how they didn't consent to its implementation, how people just don't want this, and yet Microsoft continues to force feed this technology down our throats. You get the idea. The ratio here is pretty insane. And yeah, I mean, there are plenty of reasons for why AI has been met with such a high degree of backlash, from the way it has led to the increase in prices for consumer electronics and a decrease of supply for consumer electronics, to the negative impact that it has on the environment with how much water and electricity AI consumes, all of the deep fakes and misinformation that has permeated the internet as a result of AI, all of the stolen artwork and the like, all of the stolen elements that companies thrive on in order to make their AI function. There's the whole, replacing humans aspect, where workers are essentially being laid off in favor of AI to replace the human tasks, except the output of quality of AI is just really bad. It just feels like, in many ways, an excuse to get creatively lazy. And for all the trouble that AI is causing, ultimately, it just doesn't really work. It is not something that many people consider to be a reliable technology. And that's why a lot of people have taken to calling AI slop, because it often outputs a whole lot of garbage. And, there's more style than substance, but even the style just looks rather questionable. It's very easy to spot AI visually, but even in terms of functionality, especially in operating systems like Microsoft's Windows, many people are noting that AI, the functionalities that are supposed to work a certain way, just don't really work that well. But Microsoft CEO insists that people need to stop calling AI slop, as reported here by New Salad Insider Gaming, taking information from Satya Nadella, Microsoft CEO's own blog post here published on SNSScratchpad.com, where he talks about the ways he's looking ahead to 2026 and reflecting on the past year and looking toward the one ahead, and how there's no question 2026 will be a pivotal year for AI. This reminds me of the way Square Enix would put out New Year's letter talking about the importance of NFTs and whatnot, and how, this year will definitely be the year of NFTs, and that didn't pan out. Now, if used properly, AI as a tool can be incredibly powerful, but so much of AI use right now feels, really exploitative and really just forced down our throats for the benefit of corporate agendas. So here's what Satya Nadella has to say furthermore. We have moved past the initial phase of discovery and are entering a phase of widespread diffusion. We're beginning to distinguish between spectacle and substance. We now have a clearer sense of where the tech is headed, but also the harder and more important question of how to shape its impact on the world. He continues with, this is some of what we still need to get right. Quote, a new concept that evolves bicycles for the mind, such that we always think of AI as a scaffolding for human potential versus a substitute. That'd be easier to believe if we didn't constantly see the trend of corporations engaging in mass layoffs because they believe AI can help with cost-cutting measures due to the fact that they feel like AI can replace a lot of human tasks that require that human nuance that AI simply doesn't have, yielding ultimately worse products, worse customer service, just worse services, because AI is just not at a level of sophistication that can fully replace humans. This statement continues, what matters is not the power of any given model, but how people choose to apply it to achieve their goals. We need to get beyond the arguments of slop versus sophistication and develop a new equilibrium in terms of our theory of the mind that accounts for humans being equipped with these new cognitive amplifier tools as we relate to each other. This is the product design question we need to debate and answer. Basically insisting that calling AI slop is not conducive to productive conversation, that we kind of basically should stop calling AI slop, that we should stop arguments of slop versus sophistication. Well, that'll be easier to do when AI stops producing slop. That'll be easier to do when the technology actually works, which it currently doesn't. It does a lot of really impressive and seemingly magical things, but is it reliable to be able to replace tasks that we normally do by ourselves? You know, with Microsoft's Windows, they're saying that they want to make it an Agentic OS where you tell AI what to do and it'll do that for you. Except there are articles out there talking about how they spent, some amount of time trying to strictly utilize Copilot to use their computer and how it made a computer feel incompetent. And there's an article that we see right here from news outlet The Verge. Talking to Windows Copilot AI makes a computer feel incompetent. Copilot's limitations are ever present and it can lead you astray on even the basics, reads this article. There are also plenty of articles and research out there highlighting how workers who have been forced to use AI have found AI to be more of a detriment to their workflow and made things more difficult rather than actually serving them in their tasks because AI is so prone to error. And yet amidst all this, Satya Nadella insists that we need to get beyond the arguments of slop versus sophistication when the argument of slop is very valid. And he even goes as far as calling AI these new cognitive amplifier tools. I mean, there's research out there that not only is AI often detrimental to certain workflows, but also AI does diminish cognitive function of people because people have to do less critical thinking and instead just have to type prompts that will have everything taken care of them, which means that, cognitively, humans are less engaged than ever due to AI. And that's both on an intellectual level and also on a creative level because they're just having AI take care of everything. So this is something that has not gone down well, with plenty of outlets reporting that basically Microsoft CEO said that they want people to stop calling AI slop. And there's just this extreme dissent against that. People are rebelling by just continuously calling AI slop, 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 so on and so forth. They've gone as far as calling Microsoft Microslop, giving them this new brand and this new name. And that's kind of been a very viral thing going on the internet right now. Here we have Charlie Intel reporting on how Microsoft CEO says people should stop calling AI slop. You can see right here the sheer number of engagements here, 5 million views and plenty of protests with people making fun of this statement. Here's the Ackman with a mock translation saying, please stop calling AI slop. We spent $500 billion on it. That's the thing about corporations is when they invest a lot of money into a technology they feel like will be financially lucrative for them, that technology has to pan out. It has to be something that is adopted en masse if they want to make a return on their investment. That is ultimately what this is about. That's why AI often feels like it is a solution looking for a problem. But I mean, plenty of people bringing up the point of if AI stops generating subpar content, we'll stop calling it slop. Until then, the name stays. When AI technology works as intended and when it actually benefits society instead of corporations, then maybe we can stop calling AI slop. But as long as literal slop produced by AI continues to be prevalent, there's no reason to not engage in that argument and discussion. There's no reason to move past the terminology of slop. Plenty of quote tweets of reports surrounding Microsoft CEO saying that we have to move past the terminology AI slop, saying things like, no, I don't think I will. This meme from the Avengers garnering millions of views and, almost 100,000 likes. People utterly refusing Microsoft's request that we stop calling AI slop, with tweets like these featuring this Microsoft logo reimagining that listed as Microslop, also garnering virality, so on and so forth. The amount of viral tweets that are making fun of Microsoft, mocking Microsoft CEO, and straight up refusing to follow Microsoft's agenda, it's pretty palpable. We have this individual right here with a mock quote saying, please lower your expectation of quality and just be cool with it, is basically what Microsoft is asking. Everyone's saying we're going to keep calling AI slop. We're going to call Microsoft Microslop, so on and so forth. People highlighting how Microsoft will look you straight in the eye and tell you that you should stop calling this AI slop, highlighting some of the rather uncanny and bizarre and unnerving images that AI have produced with generative AI. And, people saying things like, okay, whatever you say, Microslop. Hey, everyone, the chief slop officer of Microslop loves slop. Basically, people doubling down on using the term slop as a result of this request. So, ultimately, Microsoft achieved the complete opposite by putting out this blog post telling people what to do when it's the customers ultimately who get to decide what they feel about a product, not the product makers. But here we have another post from Pirate Nation that also highlights this report of how Microsoft wants you to stop calling AI slop. And the quote tweets are equally brutal, all going viral. This is where we're at with the AI conversation, where people are sick and tired of corporations telling them what to do, how to feel, and just outputting slop and technological elements that don't function in a way that's beneficial to society, and then still trying to insist that we should just accept that technology as useful, insisting that this technology will be the way of the future, and basically trying to take agency away from us. Basically, corporations saying, we know what's good for you, so just buy into our narrative. But this is the path that Microsoft is insisting on taking. They've already talked about how they want to turn Windows into an Agentic OS that is mostly run by AI. You just tell AI what to do, and the operating system does it, causing fury amongst users of Windows, plenty of backlash out there insisting that this is not what we want. Microsoft is just trying to force this upon us, believing that they know what's best for us when we're telling them this is not what we want. So, plenty of reports about Microsoft facing AI backlash. They're just blinded by this need to make this technology work because they've invested so much money into it. It wasn't about whether this technology is actually ready to use and is actually useful for us, and whether it's, ethical the way it's currently being used. It was just about how do we invest in something that can potentially make us a lot of money, and how do we continuously sell this product as something that people need, even if they don't. But the end result has been that Windows has focused less on features that make this operating system more useful, more efficient, less buggy, and less bloaty, and more on shoving this Copilot feature on everything. This Copilot feature that, according to many who have tried to use it, makes a computer feel incompetent. On top of the fact that AI has security issues like the potential of AI hallucinating and falling for attacks, but still Microsoft insists on implementing AI despite the security risk that it poses because AI is just really that imperfect. You've got Microsoft executives like Mustafa Suleyman, CEO of Microsoft AI, putting out statements about how, there's so many cynics. It cracks me up when I hear people call AI underwhelming. He insists right here that the fact that people are unimpressed that we can have a fluent conversation with a super smart AI that can generate any image/video is mind-blowing to me. Basically calling anyone who's not impressed by AI just stupid and silly. When the concerns aren't surrounding whether AI is impressive or not, everyone agrees that the fact that AI is even a thing right now is kind of really impressive and just really, sci-fi-ish almost. What people are concerned about is the way such a powerful tool is used and the ethics surrounding it, and that's where Microsoft and many other corporations have completely failed. On top of the fact that even if this technology is impressive, it is not functional enough, it is not accurate enough, it is not reliable enough for it to be a technology that is worth all of the trouble that is involved with this tech and all of the environmental harm and all of the harm that's done to employees and to artists and to just your basic individual living on this planet. And so, Microsoft is pondering why people are calling AI slop and why people don't like AI. What the rest of us are pondering is why Microsoft doesn't understand why people don't like AI. Microsoft can't afford to have people not like AI. A lot of these corporations heavily investing in AI cannot afford having AI be a technology that's shunned. They have to make this technology work because that's the only way they can get their massive investment back. That's the only way they can make profits for the corporation. And so they have to continuously insist that AI is good for us, that we need AI, that AI is the future, so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, consumers, us, the average citizen, we get to decide that, not the corporations. And right now, this is not going in favor of the corporations. There have only been a select few use cases of AI that we've seen that people have been like, actually, that's a great use of AI. But the way Microsoft and a lot of corporations have been, shoehorning AI into everything has been more detrimental than good and has still been continuously ethically questionable. So, Satya Nadella, you can insist all you want that AI should stop being called slop and that we should move past those kinds of terminologies, but we won't as long as AI continues to output slop, as long as the usage and the ethical implications of AI continue to be slop. And that just seems to be the general consensus of the masses who are tuned into this conversation. But this is one man's take, and this is everything you need to know about the ongoing situation, the backlash, and the mockery surrounding Microsoft CEO's latest statement. I'd love to hear what your thoughts and opinions are on what Satya Nadella had to say in the comments below. And to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.